What is going on, everybody? My name is Otto Von Clutch. That is O-double-T-O. And this is episode 14 of You Ought to Know. And alongside me, I have a very special co-host today. I have none other than Referee Ember.
What's going on, guys and girls? How's it going out there?
That's right, guys. And today, we're going to do a quick review of Dark Side of the Ring. Now, Amber, can you let me know about this episode a little bit? What episode was this?
This was about, we dove into, I didn't know too much about it before going into this, but we were exploring the life of Earthquake, also known as John Tenta.
That is right. And I didn't know much about this cat prior. I knew about Earthquake. I knew about his Avalanche character, and I knew about his partner being Ottoman. What is it? It was Ottoman, Fred Ottoman. Ottman. Ottman. So, folks, let's just dive right into this. In the beginning of this Dark Side of the Ring, it was a very interesting Dark Side of the Ring. Let's just say that. Real quick, spoiler alert, to me, it wasn't super Dark Side of the Ring-esque. I thought it was actually quite mild for Dark Side of the Ring, considering some of their topics in the past. But we will go through that. So it kind of kicks us off in the beginning. John goes to LSU, Louisiana State University, I believe it was. And he goes to LSU, and he is a wrestler over there, and a grappler, and an amateur wrestler over at LSU. But then they discussed that he got scouted by Japan. They came over there, the sumo company in Japan came over to LSU, and basically they say that he was recruited. So he goes off and has a very strong first 1 year career in sumo in Japan. I mean, you can see the guy, he's massive. Compared to the other individuals in that photo, he is just a sheer mammoth of a man. I mean,
he's a giant.
He is a giant. He definitely is a giant. So we go through this, and this was an interesting part of the show. It basically showed, his career doing that. And then I guess about a year into that, he gets called over to do some Japanese wrestling. That's what it showed. It showed basically that he
lost his interest in sumo. He was undefeated for the 8 months that he was in it, and I guess he was getting treated unfairly by his teachers, and then he just kind of wanted to explore his path. He always knew he wanted to, be a wrestler, but now there was this opening to be able to become and train to be one.
Absolutely. So it was pretty interesting. Once again, we haven't seen anything too Dark Side of the Ring-esque. At that point, it's not showing much. But one thing they are showing in this episode is family. And his love that he has for his wife in this episode is quite clear. You could really it really just shows the love that his wife had for him. No doubt about it. John's wife loved him. What was her name?
Josephine.
And Josephine, she played a very intricate role in this. She really put all the puzzle pieces together during this Dark Side of the Ring. And at this moment while they're kind of showing him going to Japan and wrestling in Japan, there's another photo of him doing his sumo. I mean, just a giant of a man. And my goodness. So basically, the most darkest part of this so far is him having to be away from his wife and his two stepchildren. His two children basically, was the dark part so far there. And then we go into kind of him and, they go through, of course, him squishing Jake the Snake, Damian. My goodness. Now that was quite interesting. Kind of gave you the backstory about how they used meat patties and pantyhoses to create Damian. And what a fun part of the show that was. And once again, nothing too dark yet. I'm waiting for the dark.
The best part about it was the audience's reaction when he did that. The little kids' faces were just like, oh my gosh, completely devastated.
Yeah, they were definitely devastated after that. My goodness. And then it shows, of course, he leaves the WWF. And during that time that he left WWF, oh no, that was with Fred. So this is kind of got confusing. So this is a Dark Side of the Ring episode on Earthquake, on John Tenta. But then they throw in halfway through, they throw his tag team partner in the mix. They throw Fred Ottoman, the man that also is known as the Shockmaster. That's right. And I was surprised also that Haku was not familiar with this scene. Now, I imagine Haku's a worker like all the rest. And I imagine Haku has seen that segment before, but maybe he hasn't. Maybe his life is not revolved around everything like that. So, boom, they show him this clip of the Shockmaster going through the wall. Once again, I'm not seeing the dark side of the ring yet. I'm not seeing what makes this so dark and so scary. You know what I mean? I'm waiting for it. So he goes off. He goes to WCW. You know, he does the shark gimmick over in WCW, which he hates. But, of course, he wants to provide for his family, you know. And so that happens. So during all this, he leaves WCW. And now he's working at the mall. They show him he's working at a retail store, which, once again, I don't see, you know, it's a bummer. Yes, of course, this superstar, this man that was once headlining against guys like Hulk Hogan and, you know, had a major name for himself in Japan. Now here he is working at a mall. But at the end of the day, you know, he was providing for his family. And, you know, I don't see, once again, the harm in that. I don't see it. I don't see the dark side. It was kind of sad. I guess that could be kind of the dark side of that, was a little sad. And then, of course, he goes off. He's in WWE. He has the new gimmick. He's under a hood, you know, and I guess he's not too happy. He's not super happy with that. He's not in WWE that long. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Let's get that situated. Oops. And here we go. So, basically, what I'm trying to say here is it wasn't a super, super sad episode of Dark Side of the Ring. But, of course, we get towards the end of his run, and he develops tumors in his bladder, I believe it was, or tumors in his stomach, somewhere along that region. And he gets real sick. And I guess the true dark side of that was during his death, his wife said the feds, neither, I guess, WCW, which they weren't even around anymore at that time, you know, when he passed away. But there was WWF, I guess, never reached out and, you know, sent flowers at the funeral.
No one showed up to the
No
funeral.
wrestlers were at the funeral.
No cards, nothing.
No cards. So that was kind of the sad part of it. The wife was saying that. Of course, he had to pass away with his children there, you know, and whatnot. So that was really sad too. So overall, as a Dark Side of the Ring, season 5, episode 1, it was dark, but it was more just a sad story, you know, about just this guy that was a great guy. He never did drugs. Him and his tag team partner, they were straight edge for the most part, you know, and his tag team partner, he got pulled away from wrestling because his brother-in-law got shot. You know, they were going to open up that bar. Yeah. And Fred's brother-in-law passed away. And so Fred had to leave the business for 2 years to go take care of that bar they discuss. You know, so I felt like this episode was all over the place. It really was very educational for wrestlers out there. I found it very educational, but definitely was all over the place. And it really was. It was all over the place.
It was a little, like, just emotional only at the end because, of course, it always is when you're hearing someone talk about losing someone they love. So, and other than that, yeah, definitely all over the place. Like,
yeah.
The consistency of it was not.
The dark side was he was away from his family. He didn't get to see his kids growing up. He was only home a few times every month, you know, when he was wrestling with WCW, WWF. That was part of the dark side. Him working at a retail store, at a mall, I guess, was a dark side moment.
Maybe like psychologically mess with him a little bit.
Yeah, and then other than that, I mean, of course, he died with the tumors, which was awful. A terrible way to die. Yeah. So
when they said it could have been preventable if he would have gone to the doctor earlier.
Yeah, so his daughter ended up being a nurse, right? Or
something in the medical profession, and she said that it was
something that was not
curable if they caught it early.
Yeah.
Detected it earlier, but
so overall, at the end of this episode, of course, I was crying, Amber was crying. It was sad. I mean, don't get me wrong, but compared to things that we've seen in the past, the Chris Benoit episodes or whatever, there's been some way darker stuff. Of course, we got appearances by Jake the Snake Roberts. He came on there, talked a little bit. We saw his old tag team partner, Haku. It was a great episode. Looking forward to the next 9 that come out. So, folks, that's basically that. That was the review of Dark Side of the Ring live right here on YouTube. And other than that, folks, me and Tombstone Jesus will be live tomorrow night for episode 15 of You Ought to Know. And we do have breaking news today, folks. We'll have Ref Amber announce this, but we do have another member added to this year's WWE Hall of Fame.
Yes, this just out. Bull Nakano will be inducted into the 2024 WWE Hall of Fame this year. So that is super exciting. Well deserved. She's a freaking legend. She's awesome. A badass.
She's a badass. And I say, spoiler alert, you've heard it here first. I believe that we'll probably see Medusa introduct her. Wouldn't you think? Who do you think's gonna? I mean, really?
It would make sense. I mean, they had some of the most iconic, matches together. So why not? Why would they not?
Yeah.
Spent time with each other in Japan, came to America, and rocked it here. So.
And back in 2017, Bull did a show in SoCal. I believe it was like Rise, something along that nature. But I know that she managed someone, and then I think Medusa managed Shotzi. But if you Bull, she lost a whole bunch of weight. She looks beautiful. She looks wonderful. She looks like really, really good. So seriously, she came back looking really good because she was a heavy set wrestler, and she lost all this weight and looks great. Nothing wrong with heavy set wrestlers, but she came back looking really healthy, and I'm very happy that she gets inducted. Alongside Paul Heyman was announced.
Yes.
Paul Heyman was announced on Monday. So, folks, this was episode 14 of You Ought to Know. We were doing a quick Dark Side of the Ring, episode 1, season 5.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys for joining us. And that's about it, guys. And we'll be live tomorrow at 6 o'clock Pacific time. And we'll be live with Tombstone Jesus. Guys, we'll be back soon. Yeah, bro. Cadabra. Don't touch the... Yeah, bro.